Since the pandemic started in 2020, CEO pay and the pay ratio between CEO and median worker pay has increased 23%.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Every year, the AFL-CIO, the largest federation of unions in North America, does a report on executive and worker pay. This year, we've got their economist Brandon Reese on to talk to us about it. Brandon, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. I appreciate it.
Hey, Jacob. Thanks for having me. It's a great pleasure to speak with you today. And on behalf of the AFL-CIO, I want to express our solidarity with our brothers and sisters, both at Warrior Met Coal, who've been on strike for over a year now against corporate greed, and also at Amazon and Bessemer, who've been fighting to form a union. Your struggle for economic fairness is our struggle.
Absolutely, and that's the spirit with which the AFL-CIO is formed. Unions coming together across trades, across regions, across crafts to support each other, and so we appreciate that, and I know that they do as well. So the Pay Watch report. Talk to us about what y'all are trying to do with this report that y'all do every year.
Yeah, so our Executive Pay Watch website, which is available at paywatch.org, that's www.paywatch.org, tracks CEO pay and the ratio of CEO to employee pay at public companies. We've got almost all Russell 3000 companies available on our website. And last year, in 2021, CEOs of S&P 500 companies received on average $18.3 million in total compensation. That was an 18.2% increase over the previous year. And as a result, the average pay ratio increased from 324 to 1 in 2021, up from 299 the previous year. Since the pandemic started in 2020, CEO pay and the pay ratio between CEO and median worker pay has increased 23%.
That's wild. That is really wild. And all of this talk about wages driving inflation, while wages for working people is not even meeting inflation, much less exceeding it, which you would presume it would have to at least meet inflation to be driving it, while executive pay is tripling inflation, almost tripling, at least doubling inflation. That's insane.
Right. That's what we mean when we talk about greedflation. Runaway CEO pay is a symptom of greedflation when companies increase prices to boost corporate profits. So the Economic Policy Institute has calculated that corporate profits account for half of all recent price increases. And what does that mean for workers? Well, so with every price increase in the cost of rent, food, gasoline, we experience as a pay cut. So while CEO pay and corporate profits increased more than twice as fast as the rate of inflation in 2021 at 7%, nominal worker wages only rose 4.7%. So after inflation, real wages actually fell 2.4%, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And that's why you have this growing gulf in inequality and an increase between CEO and median worker pay up to 324 to 1 last year.
And that was the average of from the reports, 324 to 1.
That's right. That's the average for S&P 500 companies. And the company with the S&P 500 company with the highest pay ratio, no surprise, was Amazon, where its CEO, Andrew Jassy, received an astounding $212 million in total compensation in 2021. That's up nearly 500% compared to the previous year. So Amazon's median employee received less than $33,000 last year, giving Amazon the highest pay ratio in the S&P 500 of 6,474 to 1.
Wow. That's pretty mind-blowing.
Hard to imagine. Many lifetimes of work and of pay in just 1 year.
I mean, It would take an Amazon. I mean, just the simple translation of that is that it would take an Amazon employee 6,400 years to make what Andrew Jassy did in 1 year.
That's right. That's right. So, what our concern is that CEOs have been raking in compensation, windfall compensation amounts, in part because of the inflationary economy. They've been increasing prices and to increase profits, which is hurting working people's pocketbooks. And it's CEOs, not working people, who are causing inflation. CEO pay increased at more than twice the rate of inflation, whereas worker wages actually fell last year, meaning that CEO pay is contributing to inflation. Workers' wages are holding back inflation. So if we're going to fix our economy and restore balance, we need to find real solutions to tackle inflation by going after corporate price gouging, by fixing supply chain disruptions, ending the pandemic, and helping working people cope with rising prices by raising wages.
How is it, you think, that the corporate media, that people on talk radio, that they are being so successful in driving the narrative that inflation is high because working people had it too good? Because that's basically the gist of it, right? Is that working people, their raises have been too high. We got too much money from during the pandemic in stimulus checks and unemployment while we were trying to survive. And that this is the narrative from, it seems, MSNBC to Fox News and Newsmax is that is the reason for inflation, that working people simply had it too good, and we've got to rein some of that back in. We've got to bring working people down a peg in order to address inflation. How is it that this narrative has so much legs when working people, we know that we haven't had it too good. We've seen our wages decrease as it relates to the cost of living. We have not seen enormous improvements to our quality of life.
We didn't get 500% increases like
right.
some people.
Yeah, that's exactly right. For the past year, we've heard corporate CEOs and Wall Street elites complain that they're having difficulty filling low-wage jobs. But the problem with our economy is not that too many people have jobs. The problem with our economy is economic inequality. And runaway CEO pay is a symptom of a system that's out of balance, in which corporate profits have been off the chart. Last year, corporate profits were up 17% for the S&P 500. That is a record increase. And so if we're going to solve inflation, the solution is not to cause a recession that's going to put working people out of their jobs. The solution is a workers first agenda, and that's what we're calling on, to provide real solutions to help working people cope with rising prices, reducing the cost of prescription drug prices, investing in childcare, investing in education, real solutions that can help create a broad-based prosperity, and not an economic recession, which is just going to magnify economic inequality by hurting working people and putting us out of our jobs. So that's what I think we as a labor movement need to be doing, pointing the blame for price rises on corporate price gouging and the CEOs who benefit from that.
And you know, when you say pointing the blame, it's not pointing the blame in a made up sense. It's accurately describing what is happening. The proposition that you say, the position that the labor movement needs to have is to accurately describe the real world, where 50% of the increases in prices that we're seeing in retail goods is going to profit. That means 50% of that is going to, supply chain issues. Perhaps some of it is going to increased wages. Some of it is, the 50% of it can be explained by, legitimate things that's going on in the economy, which most of it is, as I understand it, is the supply chain. It's not that workers have had it too good. Even this 50% that is legitimately explained, it's that there are huge supply chain issues that are caused by the just-in-time production and shipping model that we have got in this country and across the world that does not allow for any type of buffer at all. But then the other 50% of it is just going into rich people's pockets. And so, to create the solution, we've got to properly understand what the problem is, and I think that that's important. And I
think that's the value in a report like this, because it can actually lay it all out there for you with the facts and figures, with the numbers, to see what's really going on here. And I think it's worth remembering when we talk about inflation, who actually raises prices? We don't.
Right.
We don't have control over that. The three of us don't get to press a button that makes prices go up.
Well, and who pushes that button? CEOs. They're the ones who set prices, and their compensation is incentivizing short-term decisions. They want to maximize profits over the short term rather than expanding production, creating new jobs, innovating to satisfy customer demand. They're taking advantage of today's inflationary economy to boost prices and gouge consumers. Let me give you an example from Alabama about that. At Warrior Met Coal last year, the CEO received $5.7 million in total compensation. That's more than a 30% increase in his pay compared to the previous year. What happened to Warrior Met Coal's production? It fell off a cliff because the company would not settle a strike by its unionized members and members of the United Mine Workers of America. Meanwhile, median worker pay at the company fell 70% because of that strike that management would not settle. That increased Warrior Met's CEO to worker pay ratio from 42 to 1 in 2020 to 182 to 1 in 2021. He got a pay increase. Production fell. Workers were out of work, and production fell, which actually increased inflation and provided less product for the company's customers. So What's going on here? Our economy is out of balance. It's not working, and we need to. The solution is not to cause a recession. The solution is not for higher interest rates that Wall Street elites are calling for. It's to invest in the real economy, to fix supply chains, to invest in clean energy. And so that's why we're calling for a workers first agenda to build a better America. And to join us, you can visit our website, www.paywatch.org, to sign up and learn more about runaway CEO pay.
Yeah. Brandon, I think that was a great place to end it. Do you have anything else that you wanted to share from the report?
I would just add that the ratio of CEO to worker pay is critical because it indicates whether the CEO is taking the lion's share of pay or whether it's spread out in a egalitarian approach across the entire company's workforce. And we have to remember, companies are is a collaboration between labor and capital. We're producing products, and to be successful, companies need to be investing in their workforce. And when you have a runaway CEO pay in a high pay ratio, it indicates that companies are not investing in their workers. They're investing in the CEO. And that's a recipe for disaster, which we need to avoid. So I really appreciate your attention to runaway CEO pay and the greedflation economy that we're struggling with, and look forward to hearing the rest of your show.
Brandon Reese is an economist with the AFL-CIO. You can read more of their Paywatch report at www.paywatch.org. Brandon, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.